So this is gonna be considered a Vincent video for me. I have a lot to say in a short period of time, in regards to Jane Daniels and Dan Quinn. So let's talk about it.
Shout out to Juan Gotti talking sports. You know what it is.
Shout out Wall Gotti Talking Sports.
The way that we live is not for everybody.
Nah, that ain't it, y'all.
How do you think the rest of Jaden Daniels' career is going to go? If we're, 6, 7 games into Jaden Daniels' career, and he's already milking injuries? Like,
Stop saying my name, you dick riding bastard. I love the way she move it, shake it on me. When she cry for him, and Shawty is the winner. You can tell that Shawty's no beginner. She's confident.
Before we get any further into today's video, I want to give a huge shout out to today's sponsor, SeatGeek. If you're trying to go to a game, concert, or any live event, SeatGeek is the place to go. I actually got my tickets for week 1 against the New York Giants using SeatGeek, and honestly, I use it for all my event purchases. What I love about SeatGeek is how simple it is to find the best deals. They rate every seat on a scale from green to red. Green means you're getting a great deal, red means it's a little overpriced. That way you know you're buying with confidence and getting your money's worth. Plus, they even offer protection ticket plans so you don't have to worry about your tickets getting lost or stolen. And the best part about it all is they're hooking y'all up with the code. Use Juan Gotti at checkout and you'll get 10% off your first purchase. Again, use code Juan Gotti at checkout to get 10% off your first purchase. So what's up, y'all? I hope all is well. I just want to come on here to get something off my chest. First things first, Jaden Daniels is somebody that we hold near and dear to our heart. We know he's a guy that single-handedly brought our franchise back to relevancy last year. And I understand we're in the midst of a horrible season. 3-7 season's pretty much done. Nobody expected this season to go like this. However, the biggest thing that I think the Washington Commanders organization is doing right now is they are ignoring all the red stop signs in regards to Jaden Daniels. Now, Juan, what do you mean by that? What I mean is God is simply blessing us right now with Jaden Daniels and his injuries. He's had and suffered 3 separate injuries in which all 3 of these injuries could have been way worse. The first injury he sustained was versus the Packers this year in week 2. It was a knee injury, it was a sprain, had to have a brace on it. Everyone was freaking out, but it wasn't as bad as it seemed. He came back in week 5 and he looked damn good. Secondly, he then sustained a hamstring injury, and we know how soft tissue injuries are, especially with our star wide receiver, Terry McLaurin. You can imagine how worse that could have been. Good for Jaden Daniels, he only missed 1 game. And then the third and final injury up until this point, hopefully no more injuries. But up until this point, he sustained a dislocated elbow in a game in which a lot of people felt like, why was he in the game in the first place? Because we were getting blown. Now he should have been taken out. Whatever may have you, he dislocated his elbow. We caught a break for the 3rd time. Because that could have been ligament damage, it could have been broke, it could have been so much worse, but we bypassed all that. And the reason I bring that up is because we are ignoring all the signs that God is blessing us with right now to just say, you know what, chalk this year up. We'll be back next year. The reason I say that is because Dan Quinn and this organization plans on bringing him back after the bye week. If you hear the way he talks, if you hear the way that they are moving, they plan to bring him back after the bye week. And a telltale sign to that for me specifically was when I found out today that they have opened the window on safety Will Hurst. As we know, Will Hurst sustained a leg injury in week 3. It was basically almost a broken leg. Something near of that category. It's basically what happened to Trey Amos, and Trey Amos unfortunately will be out for the rest of the year because his happened so late. But in a year in which Washington, let's say, wasn't in the position that they were in right now, do you think Dan Quinn brings Will Hurst back? Do you think Dan Quinn brings back Jaden Daniels and Terry McLaurin and Noah Brown after the bye week, I'm not too sure. But this reaps desperation for two reasons. One specifically is Dan Quinn is fighting for his job. And I'm going to be honest with you. That is bullshit. I was going to wait on how I felt about this Dan Quinn getting fired until we got after the season. But that is BS. I get it. Dan Quinn has not been the best this year in terms of decision making, in terms of things of that nature. But there is no way in hell you sit up here with a straight face and say, yeah, firing Dan Quinn is the answer. No, I don't care if Dan Quinn ends this season 3-14. You cannot just forget what he did in 2024. For the first time in my lifetime, and in the first time in over 30 plus years, this man led us to an NFC championship game. And because a year in which this isn't a normal year we're in, I don't want to put it all on injuries, because there have been lacks of execution. There have been, poor free agent signings and draft picks up until this point, and just overall decision makings and overall just plays in the game, i.e. a Jaden Daniels bobbled snap, like that cost us. Seems like everything has been against us this year, but none bigger than injuries. I don't care what people are going to try to say. Oh, you cannot blame injuries. Everyone has them. Well, everyone does not have them like us. I'm talking quarterback out. I'm talking top 3 receivers were out at a point in time, and both of your top 2 receivers, not named Deebo Samuel, is still out. You lose your starting running back. You lose your starting safety. You lose multiple starting defensive pass rushers, i.e. your best pass rusher in Dorrance Armstrong. Right? You lose Marshawn Lattimore. You lose Trey Amos, your 2 top outside corners. Like, what are we talking about? And that's not even half of the injuries. So, in a season in which nobody expected this to happen, nobody expected to get bit by the injury bug like this, nobody expected for everything that has happened to us happen to us. You're telling me the right answer is to fire Dan Quinn after 2 seasons? That is not the right move. How do you plan on building something if you're changing the guard every 2 years? Again, if this was a season in which year 1, okay, no expectations. He goes 7 wins, 6 wins, 5 wins. Let's say he even bottoms out again. 3-1 season. Okay, that's not ideal. That's not what we thought we would get. But it's year 1 of him. It's year 1 of Dan Quinn. It's year 1 of Adam Peters. Okay, we'll give him a fair shot. Year 2, let's say he replicates the same thing, or we get slightly better. Instead of 3 wins, maybe 4 or 5 wins, maybe 6. That's not satisfying, right? That's 2 years in a row where he has not performed. He's been, a losing head coach up until this point for us. No, not a winning record. Then you could say, you know what? We might go in a different direction. We may have made the wrong decision. We may hang on to Adam Peters. We may have made the wrong decision coaching wise. Okay, I would have understood that. But in a season last year that we had in 2024, when we stayed healthy, when everybody was just playing well, when the quarterback was playing out of his mind, when Dan Quinn was being aggressive, when Dan Quinn was punching all the right buttons, you're seeing what can happen. When Dan Quinn had a locker room full of dogs, had a locker room that really believed in this brotherhood narrative that he tries to push, you've seen what happened. Even when we were down in games, we were never out. That's not translating to this year. But it's because so much has happened. Dan Quinn has exhausted everything. I remember I came up here 2-3 weeks ago. I said I feel bad for Dan Quinn. Because unlike Ron Rivera, I can tell he is trying everything. He's trying everything to get this season turned around, and it's just not falling into his favor. So what does he do? He gets desperate. He leaves Jaden Daniels out there in a game in which it's over. His 3rd injury. So back to Jaden Daniels. There is no reason for Jaden Daniels to suit up again this year. And if Dan Quinn puts him back out there and he sustains a fourth injury, that's the death note for him. And Lord knows, I don't want to say this, but that could be the one injury that Jaden Daniels can just not come back from. Again, we're talking about 4 injuries in 1 year. 3 injuries in which God, the football gods, whoever's in charge, has given us warnings, man. 3 strikes and you're out. They've given us 3 strikes. Are we going to just take the sign and say, you know what? It is what it is. Terry, Jaden, y'all see y'all next year, man. But that's not what they're going to do. Because the pressure is on Dan Quinn, which I don't understand why. Again, I get we're frustrated, fans. I get we have not gotten the result that we want. But do you think firing a guy after he just took you to the NFC Championship is the right thing to do? At least give him to next year. That way, you can say, hey, we tried. 3 years, it just didn't work. 1 year, we thank you for, but the 2 years as of late, it's just not working. But I just don't think there's anything positive that can come out of firing a guy 2 years in which the one bad season that he had here was just a crazy season. Everything that can go wrong for Washington this year has went wrong. And the last thing that he's doing is he's taking over play calling. That's the one thing that I say, okay, too little too late. He should have done this weeks ago when beat reporters first brought it up, or when fans first brought it up. He should have did it. So again, there's no win-win with Dan Quinn on Sunday morning. It's a lose-lose situation because again, if it works, you should have been did it. If it doesn't work, now you're like, what are you good for? Because you're a defensive-minded head coach, can't call defenses. Like, you know what I mean? So he's in a sticky situation, man. You know, and it's very unfortunate what 1 year can do to you. I think right now we're pushing all the wrong buttons as an organization. And I think we're getting bailed, man. We are. And we have to make the right decision this time. Because again, you put him back out there, there's no guarantee that he gets up from the 4th injury this year. And people already want your head. People already want you fired for getting him hurt in the first place versus Seattle when he shouldn't have been in. So you add that up to now you calling defenses, the defense, and probably won't get better, but if it doesn't, you know fans are gonna let you hear about it. Like I would hate to be Dan Quinn right now. I really would. But long story short, my rant, I can go on for 30 minutes, but I just don't have the time. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Tune into the Burgundy Breakdown tonight. The fellas will hold it down for me. That's all I got, man. Dan Quinn, it's rough being him. I don't agree with firing him. And the main title of this video is Washington is ignoring all the warning signs about Jaden Daniels, as they're literally there. They're there. We are getting blessed that these injuries aren't worse than what they could be. And we just sit him out, man. Just please. I know they're not going to do it. I know I'm probably just talking to a brick wall because Dan Quinn at this point is fighting for his job, which I just don't understand, which is only going to make him be more desperate. And then that's going to make him put Jaden Daniels back out there in a meaningless season down the stretch and put Terry McLaurin back out there in a meaningless stretch of the season when the season's over. Like, I hate where we're at, man. I hate where we're at. But that being said, love each and every one of y'all. Y'all have a blessed one. Let me know what you think about this video down in the comment section. Y'all be easy out there. Peace.
Ballin' like I'm Deshaun, throw the bomb, G. That's IG, my jersey never seen a line.